What up? We're back.
What's up?
Welcome to RNC Watch TV episode. Remember?
I think we're around 4 or 5.
4 or 5.
We've kind of jumped around series and things a bit, so. Well, yeah, this is 4 or 5, let's say.
So we've been mostly watching Ted Lasso.
Yeah. So you've seen the first 2 seasons. I've only seen starting at 3.
Yeah, I thought you had seen season 1.
I don't know, like honestly, I don't feel that lost. It's a very good show.
Yeah, season 1 was really good. Season 2 was skippable in my opinion. And season 3, thus far I would put it somewhere in between. Not as good as season 1, probably better than season 2.
But they did manage to somehow pull it out, at least for the 3rd season, which is kind of rare. You don't see a lot of shows do that after they tank on the 2nd season.
Well, and I don't know. I don't know that it tanked as far as how other people responded to it, but I wasn't a huge fan. Maybe my expectations were too high after season 1. But anyway, so season 3, so you're liking it. You don't really have anything to compare it to, but you're enjoying it.
No, yeah, I'm very much enjoying it. Yeah, I'd heard really good things and just never got around to watching it, but especially for a show about sports, which is not something I generally enjoy, I would say that this has been one of the few exceptions to that format that has broken through for me.
Yeah, I'm also not a sports fan.
But it seems like we both like it.
Yeah, it's good. I think the thing that really struck me with season 1 was, and I don't know if it's changed since then, but I definitely felt like there were very few shows that were straightforwardly kind and nice and like uplifting, and where, you know, the hero was like a straightforwardly nice person. I feel like we had like a good 1 or 2 decades of the anti-hero, where it was like a reaction to the Leave It to Beaver kind of simple narratives. And I was like, you know, I could definitely deal with maybe not a swing back, but like a little more variety, and that like not everybody needs to be an anti-hero. Not every protagonist needs to be like dark.
Yeah. Which, don't get me wrong, I love a good anti-hero, but when everyone's doing it and you're getting varying degrees of, I guess, how well they're executed, then it starts to get kind of old pretty quick. But yeah, I like Ted Lasso's character is definitely incredibly uplifting, just genuinely happy. I love him and the other coach, who's also from America, I guess. Their interactions seem really fun.
Yeah.
It's just a nice show.
I like their friendship. I like their dynamic. Yeah, and I like it too that he is pretty consistently kind, but he's not consistently happy, right? He has his anxiety problems. And I also think that there's something to, you know, I think anxiety can be our body's way of forcing us to listen to emotions that we don't necessarily want to. Like something like a panic attack, where it's just like, you know, if you don't want to deal with, for example, the sadness that you feel about your divorce, those feelings can only be ignored for so long. Right? They're going to manifest in some kind of way.
They'll make their way out, whether or not it's convenient for you.
Right.
It's best to approach that in a healthy way, but if you don't, they'll eventually find their way out.
Yeah. I don't know. What else do you like about it?
I don't know, I like his character. He's very, like, he definitely is, like you said, has his struggles, but like, he's very self-aware too, like in the press conference where he turns it around by basically making jokes about himself. Like, yeah, he's the type of person that can like laugh at himself, which is very rare to find, especially presented in media. So, I don't know, it's a really fun show. I've enjoyed it so far. Even though I don't entirely know what's going on, I know enough of what's going on to appreciate it.
Yeah. I'm kind of of annoyed with some of the simplicity of it. Like, it's a little neat and tidy. So, for example, the guy who does, gosh, what is his name? He's like the second in command. He used to be a star player, but now he's like one of the coaches. He was dating Keely.
Oh yeah, the angry guy.
The angry guy. Yeah.
I think if you call him the angry guy, everyone will know who you're talking about.
Yeah, the angry guy. He's like, he hates the journalist. And then there's like the big reveal of like why he hates the journalist. And he has been carrying around a clipping of essentially a bad review for a decade, I guess, many years.
Yeah.
Which, would have to be at least a decade for there to have been a print version of a bad review. Yeah. Which is just like so over the top to make a point. It's hyperbolic, right? Like,
yeah.
It's noticed that he's carrying this review in his heart. Like, he's literally carrying it around, right? And then, I don't know, it just seems like absurdly childish for someone who was in the spotlight for, a decade to have hurt feelings about, his first bad review. But then, I don't know, so we're listening to the Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend podcast, and I remember one of the episodes, Conan was like, I literally don't read any of my press. Like, I don't care if you're the most effusive, giving me the most effusive praise or the worst criticism, like, I simply will not read it. And I'm like, okay, so Conan O'Brien's had like 4 decades in superstardom, comedy-wise, and he still can't deal with a bad review. People are weird.
It messes with some people.
I'm just too much of a narcissist. Like, I love my press. Yeah, like, I don't know. I just feel like it's just part of the game. You take the good with the bad, but I want to know what people are saying about me. There are things I don't read, but
there's a difference between productive criticism and people just being dicks.
Sure, yeah, for sure. Anyway, I don't know. And then what really bothered me about the scene with the journalist, Krim, and the angry guy was when Krim apologized, which I really couldn't tell if they were playing for Krim is savvy enough to apologize if it means more access, or if Krim genuinely felt, which I think that there's a difference between saying, I'm sorry that this hurt your feelings, and, I hate that this caused you pain, and I think this was the wrong thing for me to do, right? And I feel like in a US culture, we're having problems differentiating between doing wrong, like there's the difference between like doing the wrong thing, hurting someone's feelings, and causing harm. And obviously there's overlap, but like the world needs criticism, you need to be able to say like, I don't like this, or this could have been better. And yeah, it's gonna hurt people's feelings, but it's kind of a journalist's job sometimes to say these things. And so, I don't know.
They did give somewhat of a qualifier, or not, I don't know if qualifier is the right word, but he did say that at that point in his career, he was being needlessly mean just to basically try to get viral attention, essentially.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, that gives a distinction between him just like being sorry because like he feels bad versus like he was being a dick intentionally to try to forward his career. I don't know.
Yeah.
But you could have just been saying that too.
What?
He could have just been saying that too.
Yeah. But it's like, was that the wrong thing for him to do? He got the career.
True.
I don't know. I mean, then it's like, well, how much responsibility does any individual journalist have versus the way the system is set up? I mean, I do think you can't just throw your hands up and be like, well, I'm just a cog in the system. You know, you do have some individual responsibility, but anyway, I don't know. I just thought that was interesting. I do feel like there is a growing possibly problem with people not, I don't even know if it's growing. I think humans have never been great at taking criticism.
Not really. It's not been a strong suit.
Yeah, but I think it's important. I think it's useful.
Oh yeah, totally.
But yeah, I think the other thing that struck me about these episodes, I guess we're on like episode 3 or 4, is the woman who owns the team, Rebecca, and her ex-husband, Rupert. You know, that whole dynamic reminds me that the opposite of love isn't hate, it's apathy, right?
Yeah.
There's something extremely flattering about Rupert ignoring his younger wife and child to fuck with his ex-wife, right? It's like, she's clearly taking up his mind space.
Oh yeah, clearly he's, taking up some mental bandwidth.
Right, and like, I'm not this kind of person. Like, I spend very little time thinking about the exes who I'm not friends with. I have very few exes who I'm not friends with, and you know, I simply don't think about people who piss me off for the most part.
That's a healthy way to live.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just selfish in that way, but
I don't know if that's selfish even.
I don't have time for it, but I guess I understand the draw, I guess, of, you know, like, I guess what it's making me think is like there's something, and it makes me think about the stuff I've been reading and writing about loneliness, right? It's sadder in a way to be not thought of than to be thought ill of, right? It's almost like sadder to have someone not think of you than to wish you harm, and to try to get back at you. And if you care about someone, but you can't figure out how to be in a healthy dynamic with them, I guess I can see why you'd rather stay in an unhealthy dynamic than to not have any dynamic with them at all.
I've never thought of it that way, but that actually makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. I don't know, and I've seen in real life, like, people get into these stupid, you know, wanting to get revenge on their ex. Lol. It's the saddest thing in the world, and I've never really had empathy for it. I'm just like, everyone involved is very broken, get therapy. But I don't know, watching it maybe there's the distance of like, these are fictional characters.
Yeah.
Maybe because I'm not seeing it we are seeing it more from Rebecca's perspective than Rupert's, but you know, I don't know. Just something about seeing it from this angle gives me empathy for these fucked up dynamics that I've never had before, which is interesting. And I think the reading about loneliness has given me some empathy, especially, I think for them, it's like there's a investment and intimacy that you have with someone who you've been married to for years, you know, some number of years, that like, you know, neither of them have with anyone else.
Yeah.
Rebecca doesn't even have anything close, and like Rupert has gotten married again, but clearly the connection is not quite the same.
Oh yeah, like it hasn't been brought up yet. Like, we don't know anything of who he's married to. We just know that he's technically married.
Well, I've seen a little more because I saw the other season. But I still don't know a lot. There's still not very much that I know. But it's extra lonely, I think, when there's no one who's close to you and knows you in that way. And that even more in that situation, I could see wanting some kind of closeness with that person, even if it's negative, some kind of relationship, some kind of attention, even if it's negative versus just nothing. Anyway, it's weird, but it's what I've been thinking about. What else? I think the angry guy and Keely thing is interesting.
Yeah. It's well written.
Yeah.
Seems to be regretting it progressively. Or I think he's regretting it. I can't get a good read on him.
I think it's the best written like subplot of the show, of the season thus far.
I like that little girl that's like, I think you're being stupid.
Yeah. It's definitely like a trope of the like wise beyond her years child.
Yeah.
But I like it.
It's a well end. They implemented the trope well.
Yeah. The show, I feel like it doesn't drag. That's something I like about it. I don't feel like the scenes are too long. It gets to the point.
Yeah. Which is nice. Because you have a lot of stuff that drags horrifically these days.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I like how a lot of times when two people get together who you've been rooting for to get together, the show loses steam, but they're kind of reestablishing a will they or won't they with the Keely and angry guy thing, which I think is fun.
Yeah, it's smart.
Yeah. But it doesn't feel like super contrived. It seems plausible.
Yeah. Like it's a well written relationship dynamics. Mm-hmm. Which you don't see also a lot of times these days.
Yeah.
A lot of times feel the same. Like you said, incredibly forced, but doesn't in this case.
Yeah.
Which is nice.
Yeah. Closing thoughts?
Excited to see where it goes. I need to go back and watch season 1 and skip. I'll skip 2 on your recommendation. Well, actually, I have to watch the first season because I heard really, really good things, especially right after it came out. That's why I was kind of excited to watch it, even starting at 3.
Yeah, and I think as well, like it came out at like the perfect time where everybody just like was right in the pandemic.
Oh,
everybody
God.
needed something straightforwardly positive, like optimistic,
Something happy.
lighthearted, happy. Yeah. So, yeah. It'll be interesting to see how. I definitely don't feel like we've seen a lot more Ted Lassos. I mean, honestly, I think like Platonic is a pretty. I would not call either of the two leads like anti-heroes.
No, they're relatively normal people.
Yeah,
basically.
they're like at heart nice people. But yeah, I don't know. I can't think of anything else quite like Ted Lasso that's come out recently. But maybe we'll see more of it. Anyway.
Yeah, I'm excited to see where it goes, and excited to see where Apple's been releasing some really good lighthearted stuff, I guess, overall. Which Platonic, I don't know if I would call it universally lighthearted, but
It's on HBO too, right? Or is it Apple Plus?
no, I think it's Apple.
Oh, okay.
I want to say it's Apple. I may be wrong.
I don't know. We don't know. What else are you thinking of?
That's it. That show.
Okay. Yeah, anyway, so thanks for tuning in. See you next week.
Bye.